Hey everyone, it's Calvin, also known as Romer, and this is Ace Attorney Chronicles. This is my first ever playthrough of Ace Attorney Chronicles, the Ace Attorney Chronicles, I should say. And juror number 1 has a flower that is attached to his coat. Very, very fancy.
There was no one else inside the carriage at the time, so it'd have to be him.
I trust the driver. He has an excellent memory, it seems. 4 passengers with fares totaling 20 pence. 4 passengers fared, okay. He stuck the chap next to him like this. Brazen, I must say. Absolutely brazen. I've simply typed and collated all the statements made thus far and drawn the logical conclusion.
You can trust the guild. Fair fares is our motto. We haven't raised prices above 4 pence for years.
Okay. 4 pence per person? That doesn't add up, though. The music's so good. That doesn't add up.
This scoundrel stabbing that poor man on the floor, it beggars belief.
That doesn't add up because she said, the other girl said 20 pence, right? For 4 passengers. 4 by 5 is 20. It would be 5 pence. 4 by 4 is 16. So why are they... There's a discrepancy there of some sort. I'm starting to wish I hadn't pushed for this now. Oh, some of the jurors don't seem to have wonderfully formed arguments, do they? Well, let's see what we can do. We need to get these 6 people to change their minds. I'll have to throw everything at them and use some very persuasive language. Just a moment, Mr. Naruto. I drew this dog. According to my book, that's not quite how it works. Oh? I thought I was gonna have to thaw their icy minds with some heartwarming rhetoric about the defendant. No. Unfortunately, once the jurors have decided the defendant is guilty, they're unlikely to heed anything the defense says. But then, they've reached their conclusions by their own reasoning, you see. Your pleas will sound like excuses. In fact, it could recoil on you. The more you try to persuade them, the more entrenched they may become. Then what on earth am I supposed to do? Oh dear, I'm just citing what I've read about British law, Mr. Naruto. Right, I'm sorry. Do you have any idea how to make this work then? Well, from what I can understand, the key to this procedure is using the juror's own words to make your arguments. What do you mean? Oh, well, the 6 members of the jury are randomly selected as members of the public. That guy is gonna stab someone. They may appear to present a united front, but the truth is, they are complete strangers who just happen to find themselves here in the courtroom together. And that's the way to break them down, you mean? Yes, exactly. We must listen very carefully to what each member of the jury says, and see if we can identify any contradictory statements. If we can, we then contrast the statements and pit the corresponding jurors against each other. I see, so it's contradictions in what 2 or more jurors say that we're looking for. In a way, then, this is similar to the regular cross-examination. Oh, yes, I suppose you're right. Find contradictions in their statements and pit the jurors against one another to break them down. Alright, I might be able to pull this off. No, that's not right. Oh, God. I have to pull this up. That can actually do some big damage to you if you do it hard enough, man. You shouldn't be hitting yourself in the face.
Can we start proceedings, counsel? I would ask you to take a stand for this. I'm expecting a clear and concise rebuttal.
Yes, my lord. We're standing up, guys. We're standing up. The witnesses are stood in the back as well. The defense's rebuttal.
There's no one else.
Okay, so, pits. We can pit them against each other. Okay, so I have an idea. I'm gonna pit you against this guy. Yeah?
Objection.
Because you both have different statements about the money. Those 2 statements clearly contradict each other.
They do? Explain yourself, counsel.
Me? Oh dear, what have I said?
I swear on Silver Blaze's mane and name, I haven't the first idea what to talk about.
He's walking around. What the? This is such a basic thing in any other game, but to me, like, this is so crazy. Like, I did, like, I don't know, it's just weird. It's just really, it's just really creepy. I don't know why. There were 4 passengers on the omnibus on the night in question, and according to the coachman, Mr. Beppo, he took 20 pence in fares.
Quite right. I have those precise details typed neatly here in front of me.
Oh god, man, if only someone asked. And the juror number 5 also told us the following. The fare for the omnibus is always 4 pence.
Well, that is a fair and convenient single price, just the way London's carriages should be operated.
But that doesn't add up at all. In fact, it leaves a glaring discrepancy in the facts.
Why, man, why?
4 passengers paying 4 pence each. If you do the multiplication, it would be 16 pence. Exactly. As I said, it doesn't add up. The figures are different. By 4 pence, in fact. Or precisely 1 person's fare.
1 person's fare?
Yes. In other words, on the omnibus that night, it's distinctly possible there was another passenger we heard nothing about. There we go, yeah. And look, she's pointing directly at the girl.
This can't be right. The coachmen of the guild are good, honest men, one and all. Trustworthiness is our watchword.
The figures your coachman claims most certainly do not add up. Your watchword, good sir, is a fallacy.
I beg your pardon?
Mr. Guildmaster, I think you ought to consider that if this trial were to end now, the news will surely spread all over London. The news that one of your coachmen tried to hide the fact that he lets nefarious characters ride his omnibus.
Alright then, how do I make it so this miserable trial doesn't end?
Oh, here she goes, Susato. I drew this box. Well, according to my book here, she's adorable. You simply launch a ball of fire into the innocent side of the set of scales.
Oh, yours is there, coachman. We're all in agreement. Why do you have to go and... Wait till I get my hands on you, Beppo.
Oh, yeah, we got one of them. We got one of them. Okay, cool. That's actually really fun. That's a really fun mechanic. That's a really, really fun mechanic.
Oh, this is all very irritating.
Begging your pardon, sir. I'm going to do the same. Oh, for realsies? Thank you so much. I knew the 2 prettiest ones would do it.
For the love of Mike, not you as well.
A penny can be the difference between a smile and a tear, after all. I certainly can't put my trust in someone who doesn't follow my exacting standards in financial matters. And that's cool that from her perspective, again, someone who, like, money is everything, you know? Or, like, the slightest bit of money can change your life. I, for one, think it's only proper that we hear from the witnesses again. Oh my god, you're so adorable, Susato. Well done, Miss Naruto, you did it. Is that it? If we can manage to change the 2 more jurors' minds, we can force the trial to continue. 2 more, actually. Oh. There's something else that is bothering me about a couple of their assertions. Then what? Then that's when we must strike next. So I need to put 2 or more jurors against each other and show they're another contradiction in their assertions. Exactly. Okay, you can do it. Let's go. Let's go.
Well, the scale... That's not his voice. Well, the scales of justice have shifted, but they still weigh heavy on the side of guilt. Counsel, you have the floor again. Continue with your summation examination.
You don't have to tell me to do that. So we have, I'm changing my leaning to innocent. I should like to hear what implies. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Okay, so we also have, there was no one else inside the carriage at the time, so it has to have been him. Okay, can we pitch you against each other? He stuck the chap next to him like this. Brazen, I say absolutely brazen. Next to him like this. Okay. Is there, okay, let's just check the court record for a second here. Someone actually said as well, and here's the thing, I'm sorry that, like, if some people see this as a spoiler, someone did, like, did very nice suggestion saying, hey, you should be examining a lot of stuff a lot more, like, I don't know if they mean this, but, like, oh, we're not going to see where they were sitting from this point of view, though, are we? I can't find anything out of place. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, because I don't know, like, we heard where they were sitting, because, like, I think that could be a contradiction, but see, he stabbed him from the front, so is that something he's saying? I've simply typed and collated all the statements made thus far and drawn a logical conclusion.
Good, Beppo. This trial is going to continue so I can get to the bottom of this corruption. Not guilty, I say.
The scoundrel stabbing a poor man on the floor.
It beggars belief. Stabbing the poor man on the floor. Do I pit you against each other? Is that what I have to do? Because you're saying you're saying it's chap next to him. Is that what we're saying? Maybe. Those symbols are completely contradictory. Are they? What? Explain, cause of post haste.
Oh dearie me, I was only needing the jumper for my other half.
What's all this claptrap? What does contradiction even mean, I ask you? We've heard from more than one witness that they allegedly saw the actual moment when the defendant stabbed the victim. Now, out of curiosity, juror number 3.
What? Can't you see I'm busy here?
I love his design so much. How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim? What sort of motion was it?
Want to test me, do you?
It was like this. Stuck the fellow next to him without getting up. Just like a prim banker said. Looks like their prim banker said.
Yes, that was Mr. Fairplay's testimony, quite true.
Now then, juror number 6.
Oh, is that me, is it? What can I do for you, young man?
How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim, madam?
Oh, well, dear, as far as I understand it... What down? Blood was splattering everywhere. It was like this. He stabbed the poor man after he collapsed on the floor. The coachman said so.
Now don't move. Get her. Take a look at these 2 jurors. He stuck the fellow next to him without even... Look, he's like without even getting up. And he stabbed the poor man after he collapsed on the floor?
Well, I never. They're stabbing in totally different directions.
Someone take that knife away from him. Someone take those needles away from her as well.
Bless my stitches, what a muddle.
What this tells us is that there's a strong possibility one of the witnesses isn't telling the truth. It's probably the old lady, I'd say. No, she's not a witness, what I'm saying. But why? Why the dickens would they lie? I don't know that yet, but what I do know is that if the trial ends at this point, we may never find out. We may never know the real truth. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, can you really let that happen in all good consciousness?
Lies, you say? Oh, dearie me.
Yeah!
I can't abide people telling lies.
In order of prettiness, they're all like doing it, the innocent thing. I knew it, like pretty people do the innocent thing. The scales.
I don't believe it.
Look at what we did here. Like, because we got this pretty early, like we kind of look like a competent lawyer.
Wait! Now hear this, my fellow jurors. I warn you, you cannot listen to this man. Look at him, his black suit. He's clearly some devious Eastern sorcerer using magic on all of us.
If I could use magic, do you really think I'd be putting myself through all this?
Answer this, Doc Jinx. What exactly is the problem? What of it if the 2 witnesses have slightly different recollections of the event?
The problem is I have with 2 witnesses having 2 different recollections of the event is, and again, I'm using this from a school perspective, right? Usually a lot of stuff gets absolutely muddied if there's say a fight happens in a school. And one of the kids goes, I saw Jack walking up to Tony and he punched him upwards with an uppercut in the jaw. And then another kid, when you talk to him, he's like, oh, did you see the fight? He's like, yeah. It's like, oh, well, I saw, I saw Jack walk up to Tony and then he punched him in the ear right away out of nowhere. After a while, you're going to be kind of like, okay, what, like, it seems like this is shaky at best. It seems like you didn't get a good view of this or you didn't get a good idea of this. And like, unless like all the stories match, there isn't really a good way of like finding out the real truth of the matter. You can still like do punishments and stuff like that, but it just doesn't work and it doesn't feel right ever. It never feels good, having to try and write a report or a disciplinary thing on something you don't have any idea of what's happening in, because then it's like, okay, I could be doing something completely wrong. I could be putting someone away, giving someone detention or something like that for something they didn't even do. What of it?
Let's say the Shylock did stab the victim as he was sat next to him on the omnibus. And this young dandy saw him do it. And now let's say the victim collapsed on the floor, like this. And then the Shylock stabbed him again. And this old lady saw him do it, young lady. Well, what's to say it didn't happen like that,
Who are you calling a dandy, sir? Why, I should take this knife to you. Who are you calling old? Why, I should take this needle to you.
Okay, get him, both stabs. They're ready to kill each other now. That's what we wanted, I love that he brings up the armband every once in a while. It's kind of like this, it's kind of symbolic in a way, like, you know, hey, remember, like, we're a lawyer. We're doing this for, Asugai. Which it is pronounced Asugai, by the way. Hey guys, it's pronounced Asugai. I don't mind, but it's pronounced. Because the foreman of the jury be right. I think, you know, someone pointed out that, like, McGilded is Irish. He's been living in London for the most of his life. He has businesses. He's been doing, like, he built a park in London. He's been here for decades at this point. I'm not saying he's not Irish. Of course, he was born in Ireland. He is Irish. But it's very clear that, like, at this point, he would not have a full-on Irish accent. Also, they said use guys in the accent, which I look back at it, I was like, no wonder I didn't think he was Irish. No one says use guys, and no one says fella anymore either. Like, nobody in Ireland says fella anymore. It's very much a very kind of, like, broken idea of what the Irish accent is. It's very much like, oh, like tis grand is Irish. That's Irish. Grand is like, oh yeah, that's okay. You know, grand in Irish slang basically just means like, oh, that's okay, don't worry about it. Like, oh, hey, I'm sorry that I stepped on your toes. You're grand. That means like, hey, everything's okay. But like, use guys doesn't get said, and fella doesn't. I have not heard someone say fella in years. And we could say maybe like, hey, like at this point, people would say fella in Ireland. That may be the case, but I guess that's just why I didn't pick up on it. And so I'm going to continue to do a British accent because I believe that at this point, if he's been living in England for decades, he's picked up the British accent in many ways. Did the two witnesses just see two different moments of the same crime? It's out of the question. There's only one stab wound. There's only one stab wound. Unfortunately, Mr. Foreman.
What is you dog jigs? Come on, go with it.
What you're suggesting is impossible. It's out of the question.
What are you talking about, man? How can you possibly say that? You do realise that I'm only doing my job. As a foreman of the jury, I have the responsibility to steer everyone in the right direction. So where's your evidence, man? That's what we want to see. I say the two witnesses saw two different moments of the same crime. You say that's out of the question. Show me your proof. Where's the proof?
It looks like the only way I'm going to convince him is to present him with some kind of can't miss. The crime scene photo, some irrefutable hard evidence. As you wish.
What? I didn't expect that.
I'll give you the proof. It's out of the question that the two witnesses saw two different moments of the same crime. Proven by...
Take that!
This? It's a clear piece of evidence. Well, Mr. Foreman? Yeah?
Do you know what they say about me, young man? They say I've got no powers of persuasion.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry to hear that.
Do we F that up? But no one will need persuading about this.
You're even... Wait, really? Wait, I taught the knight the stab wound. Hold on a second, what do you mean? Or the post-mortem report, I guess? Okay, that's makes way more sense. That's my bad. Yeah, because he was stabbed more than once. Like the photo, like does I guess you can't really tell from the photo. You'd have to actually get the actual post-mortem report, the autopsy report. Yeah, that's my bad. According to what's written here, Mr. Mason was stabbed in the abdomen only once.
Only once? But what if he did? What if it's twice? Let's just say it was twice.
It's quite simple. The victim was stabbed precisely one time. Which means the witnesses can't possibly have seen it happen 2 different times.
Alright, I can see defeat.
Yeah, we got the dandy. That's it. The trial can continue. Really, really cool mechanic. Really tense moment. Really well done. Wait, that means 4 jurors are now leading to not guilty. You did it, buddy. We've done it, Mr. Naruto. Oh my god, you're adorable! We won. Look at us in our pants.
What are you playing at, you dandy fool?
Shut your trap, sir. No one deceives me.
But without a consensus.
I said shut your trap. Yeah, shut your trap, buddy. I know a liar when I see one. And if the chap ever dares to cross the threshold of my shop, I'll take this razor sharp
oh my god. Dude. Oh, dude. Shave your ass. Dude. Please tell me he's a barber. I don't think so.
Well, in quite a remarkable turn of events, the defense summation examinations flipped the balance of the scales of justice. The jurors now stand as 2 for guilty, 4 for not guilty. Accordingly, there is no longer a large enough majority among the jury for me to adjudicate, and the trial must continue.
You know what's gonna be super difficult in this trial, though? The guy we're going up against, I forget his name, is actually a good lawyer so far, and he's actually very good at what he does. And I think that's something that's, we're not very used to, because, the reason why we would lose constantly to Von Karma is because, she would tell the judge to shut up. I think the only other time this kind of happened was with Edgeworth. If you remember Edgeworth, in other games, he would, he would be really, really freaking good. Yeah, he would be a little bit sneaky, but, he cared about the law, and he cared about justice, and he cared about all this stuff. So, you actually had this thing where, you were going up against someone who was actually very, very meticulous and good at their job, so it was harder to, find, little discrepancies. I think that's probably going to be the case here as well.
I hereby ask the defense, the prosecution, and witnesses to return to their places, and I call upon you to continue to pursue the truth. So Lord Van Zieks continues to substantiate the case for the prosecution, if you please.
Yeah, I know, he's just very good so far. And he hasn't really, tried, he's shown evidence, but he hasn't, now we don't know, he could be a crooked person, he could be. Wine sucks. That's dangerous. Having savored the rich aroma of the carmine contents of this hollowed chalice, if I may seem crass to crush it to dust, pray forgive the discourtesy.
Lord Van Zieks.
Is it cold in here, or is it just me? As your antiquated tome no doubt says, the prosecution may not speak during a summation examination, so I honor the deathly silence and listen to the charade. It seems I overestimated the intelligence of the jury. Well, no matter. There is nothing so hard to prove as self-evident truth, it would seem. No one why else would we grace the courtroom with our presence after all. So, let us proceed to the next round of battle. Oh, he's taking off the cape. Bring forth the witnesses once more. Jesus, dude. Oh my god, they're up there again. Yeah, they're up there again. This time, you guys are big liars. Witnesses, I trust you heard the summation examination we have just had to endure.
Oh, yes, sir. That I did, sir.
Of course I heard it.
Yes, sir, I heard it.
You saw the end of the coachman, I believe. It's Beppo. Oh, yes, sir, my lord, sir. If it transpires that in your previous testimony, you were attempting to veil the presence of a fifth passenger on your omnibus, you will be found guilty of perjury. You are advised to bear in that mind, sir. Oh, mio Deo. Oh. Now then, witnesses, I hereby call on you to testify before the court again. You will explain the various misgivings brought to our attention by the defense's summation examination. I only carried 4 passengers that night, I swear it, but,
Well, I for one was told I had to pay 5 pence for the bus. Oh, here we go. That's a good lie. But now you're gonna now Beppo's gonna have to be angry about this.
He fiddled us on the fare, he did. And I saw that blood-curdling sight as well. It's all too much.
I'll tell you, I saw McGilded stabbing that man. Everything I said before stands.
Oh, yes, stabbed him. Yes, he did. Oh, I think so, yes.
Beppo is too cold. What's happening with Beppo here? Beppo has pneumonia. Can someone fix Beppo?
Counsel, make sense of this for me, please.
I don't gotta do nothing. You ain't my boss. You ain't my judge. You ain't my honor. I don't gotta do nothing about any of this. In fact, I think I might just quit the game. Oh, he means him. I forgot I'm the defense. Uh-oh. The phantom fifth passenger conjured into existence by my learned Eastern friend never existed. The confusion has arisen from the coachman's sly little cozenage.
Oh. Beppo, explain yourself. I'm terribly sorry, Guildmaster. The guild's fare is 4 pence across the board. You know that. I'm hard to understand that you've been overcharging our passengers a penny a fare. It's so cold, and the last run of the day is always half empty. You have been dishonest, coachman. I'm sorry. You're a disgrace, Beppo. A disgrace. And your selfish actions have brought dishonor on the entire guild.
If I may, sir, I had to pay 10 pence on the bus just last week. What?
What?
4 passengers of 5 pence each is 20 pence.
I've done the arithmetic 10 times already, but I just can't make the results come out differently.
No, that figures. Fantastic design, this guy as well.
Would it appear that one of the aforementioned misgivings has already been explained? So, counsel for the defense, your cross-examination, if you please.
We've already had the pleasure of protracted summation examination today. I see you intend to continue the parlor games.
Absolutely.
That's the best way to get someone. When someone goes, oh, here comes this guy bullshitting again. You go, yeah, I am. What are you going to do about it? Really cool. The presentation of this game is absolutely fantastic. It's amazing. Here we go.
If only I only carried 4 passengers a night, I swear it, but,
well, see, I'm like, again, we don't have to press everything, but I'm going to press this because I want to see if you did actually carry 4 passengers a night. So there were only 4 passengers on your carriage, but you didn't charge them the standard 4 pence fare? Is that right? He's a whip! Wait a second. Hold on a second. If he's... Is he Von Karma's ancestor? No.
I was so cold, it was all I could do to stop myself passing out.
I'm getting chilblains just listening to you. Chilblains? What's chilblains? Hold on a second. Chilblains are small, itchy swelling in the skin that occurs in reaction to cold temperatures. They often most affect... Oh, yeah. This actually can be quite annoying. Yeah, totally. I've heard about these before. I don't know if I've had them before. Is that something you can get now?
It was terrible, so I wanted to give myself a pat on the back for even keeping the bus running. Doesn't a delegated coachman deserve an extra penny per passenger?
Sure, dude, yeah. I agree. Yeah, you deserve money for your hard work, for sure. You're digging a deeper hole for yourself here. I've only been a 5th passenger on the omnibus tonight. I love the lifting up of the armband to remind himself who he is. It's freaking awesome. It's such good symbolism. Then we'd have another suspect. Okay.
Wilawful was told I had to pay 5 pence for the bus.
He fiddles on the ferry. Did I saw that blood-curdling sight as well? It's all too much.
Hold on a second. I want to press this first of all again. I'm not going to press every statement, but like I think it's important to press some statements. Does that mean everyone on board that night paid 5 pence instead of 4?
Well, I paid 5 pence too, sir.
And I just told you that I did. A flat fare of 5 pence across the board.
It's not something to be proud of. I mean, like, yeah, get your money. The so-called discrepancy my learned friend identified was nothing of the sort. Much like the phantom killer you so desperately needed, it's gone, dead, and buried. I'd have been happy if it had never existed in the first place.
He fiddles on the ferry, did?
Okay, I don't think we're getting anything from that either.
I'll tell you, I saw McGilded stabbing that man. Everything I said before stands.
Hold it! Hold it a second, you goddamn fool. So you saw the defendant, Mr. McGilded, stabbing the victim, Mr. Mason, who was sitting next to him?
That's what I said, isn't it?
It was bothering me before. This was for just a brief moment. He hesitated before answering the question. Anyway,
there was only 2 of them inside the carriage, wasn't there?
there's been much talk of a fifth passenger, but yet zero evidence.
Now what are we wasting all this time for, eh? It's black and white, the man's guilty.
Something about Mr. Fairplay's testimony just jars at me. I wish I could work out what it was. So as well, what's crazy is about this too is that I think so, yes. This I think so stuff as well. I'm gonna press this as well. But like, some people are saying you have to press statements more than once as well in some cases, and we did that before, so we didn't know that was a thing because the dialogue did change. But I'm wondering, like, will it be an indication of whether I know that or not, or if I'm just gonna have to keep doing it? That's a wonder, you know. Earlier, you testified that you saw a moment when the defendant allegedly stabbed the victim, didn't you?
Oh yeah, that's right.
You said the victim was on the floor and described as the assailant as holding the knife in an ice pick grip.
I suppose I might have, you know, yes. Put the cart before the horse, baby. What's this? Well, I'm quite sure about most of it. I was driving the horse when I heard a scream from the seats on the roof deck.
Oh, I expect that was me, sir.
When I turned around, yes, I saw through the skylight the gentleman was on the floor and the knife was sticking up of his midriff. That's right, yes, and the fellow holding the handle was the famous man, yes.
So, in short, you didn't see the moment when the victim was actually stabbed at all.
I really thought I did, but when I go over it again in my head, no, I suppose I didn't actually see the precise moment of the stabbing, did I?
Uh-oh, 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 uh-oh. Pursue! Do you have something to say about that, Mr. Fairplay?
Now you listen to me. I know what you're thinking. He didn't really see the exact moment the fellow was stabbed. What are the chances of that?
Are you asking me or telling me? He's getting flustered. I might be able to extract some new information from him if I answer him cleverly. Could he have just happened to see the exact moment the crime was committed? I don't know. Do we say no chance? Could he just seen the exact, some days are like that is not the answer that we're gonna be getting here. Well, it is a little hard to believe, certainly. Unless you spent your time peeping through the skylight atop of the omnibus, that is. Yeah, you pervert! Pervert, 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 he's a pervert, 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 pervert. I'm probably gonna get demonetized.
Peeping? I'll be a respectable city bank, I'll have you know. All I know is what I saw. I remember it clear as Balrot Day. It was a grim scene, I don't mind telling you.
Thank you, Mr. Fairplay.
Oh, excuse me, I was getting a little hot under the collar there, my lord. I would ask you to supplement your testimony. Clear statement about what exactly you saw. Oh, I could do that alright. I'll tell you just how grim it was.
Do you think I'd forget to saw those blood-soaked hands after the butcher stabbed the man? The blood-soaked hands. But there was a... But the gloves, right? Is that what we're gonna say? Can we do, because we could do that in Ace Attorney, we could just present stuff, right? Because he said blood-soaked hands. Blood-soaked hands?
Well, I meant that soaked by laying
yeah, and so, by the way, yes, I will do it, by the way. Someone, like, okay, we'll get to it after this. People were telling me that, like, yeah, you should be examining the stuff in the court record more. At first, I thought they just meant, like, hey, you know, you can look at the stuff in the court record, but you can also, like, do this, which is something I haven't been doing, which you will get to that after this statement. I think we will. Yeah. So, I apologize for not doing that. Like, it's just something I think I'm not used to.
Well, I admit that soaked might be laying it a little thick, but anyway, there was definitely blood all over them. Both of them were covered in it.
Well, I'm very sorry to disagree, Mr. Fairplay, but that's more than a little peculiar.
What?
Here are the gloves worn by the defendant, Mr. McGilded on the night in question.
Oh yes, right.
And there certainly does appear to be a sizable dark-colored stain there. But, as I'm sure you can clearly see, it's only one right-hand glove.
Very, very tasty.
That's weird, because like British people do that, don't they? They eat like weird food, so I'm not surprised he's eating a cane. In short, Mr. Fairplay, your testimony is inconsistent.
But no, that can't be right.
And he stabbed him like this. The blood was going everywhere. So you're the liar here, then?
Yum, 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 yum. Beans on toast.
Beans on toast is actually great.
That's why you were clear about it. You said, yeah, it was both hands.
Oh my god, don't do that. Your teeth, your teeth, your teeth, your teeth. Mr. Fairplay, if your last statement was a lie, it calls your entire testimony into question. You say you saw the moment the victim was stabbed. But is that really the truth?
Oh, well, Objection!
Objection? It was a simple mistake. You can't justify accusing this man of lying. Excuse me? Okay, now Van Zeeks, right? If I said to someone like, I saw your husband cheating on you, right? And then they go, are you sure you saw them? It's like, yeah, I saw him there in his gray hoodie, walking into the house in his blue jeans and gray hoodie. And then later on in the day, we find out that the husband was actually going around wearing a black suit. I'm sorry, at that point, it's lying. That's a bad example. Forget I said that. It wasn't both hands, it was only one. But the fact remains. The victim's blood was on the accused. Objection. No, Mr. Fairplay categorically stated that he saw blood all over both hands, which means there's a strong possibility that this witness was deliberately trying to mislead the court.
Oh, why? I'm a shitty banker for pity's sake. My word should be the gold standard.
No, not at all. Go away. I'm a gentleman, also I'm gutter snipe. Upstanding member of society don't provocate. You know what's so funny? At this point, you would have been an upstanding member of society. You're not. The guy who's the dandy at the the juror, I trust more. Stop biting it, you fool! He's claimed to have no reason to lie. But is that really the case? Miss Naruto, if you had some evidence to explain why Mr. Fairplay might be lying, it could turn the tide in this trial completely. Something to show this man has compelling reason to lie in his testimony. Okay, this is where we should check the evidence again, right? Because, like, I feel like, this is what people were kind of letting on to, is that, like, there's not, like... Yeah, not this, okay. We checked out the photo. Yeah. But there's stuff you can do, like, move around the stuff as well. Can we look at the bloodstain? Yeah, so you can have this, which we've done this before, but we should be doing this more. This definitely is blood, isn't it? Not the most pleasant sight to be confronted with on our first day in London. Well, nothing will come of grumbling now. No. By the way, is Mr. McGilded right-handed? Yes, I believe so. He was toying with a coin in his right hand a little earlier. Pity, if only he'd been left-handed. I think blood in either glove would be fairly incriminating, really. True. Okay, so we have the blood in that hand. We checked out the carriage actually earlier. What's under the carriage? Is all the passengers under the carriage? We can check out the skylight. You can certainly see inside the carriage through this opening, that's for sure. Yes, and there's a lamp in the closed cabin. I would not be able to witness stuff perfect though. So I'm sure the witness would have been able to see quite clearly. That's not good for us. Okay. We have the knife, the knife. That part is the sheath, isn't it? Are you alright, Mr. Naruto? Oh, sorry. Yes, I just don't really like blades. Oh, those don't seem like the words of a man with a large katana slung from his waist. That's not a blade, that's Cosmo's soul. Jesus. Anyway, there's no sense delaying it. Let's see what the blade looks like. Whoa, the stained blood as well. Look at that. That's actually pretty cool. Ah, that looks a lot like blood. It surely is blood, the victim's. An Englishman's blood looks a lot like a Japanese man's blood. That's a... Man, put that tattoo on your back. Do you think it wouldn't... No, sorry, it's just that we've only just arrived here in Great Britain. I'm finding it a little hard to adjust. Yes, I do understand. I mean, like, to me, that's actually a beautiful message in a way, right? Like, to me, it's a beautiful message just because, like, hey, yeah, we all believe the same way. This portfolio must contain all sorts of secrets in London gentry. Oh, dear. Do you really think I ought to look inside? Well, it's not as though we know any of London's guilty personality, is it? Is that what I said? Personalities? Apart from our great detective friend, perhaps. Actually, I wonder. I assure you, I will not find Mr. Sholmes' name inside. Well, let's see what we find. Will we find Mr. Sholmes' name? Let's hope. Do we just look at the... Gosh, it's crammed full of gentlemen's names, isn't it? Well, I suppose they're probably gentlemen and all, aren't they? After all, not everyone in this country is well off. Goodness, what is this? Look at this. Do you see the name here? Oh, okay, there we go. There we go. Thank you so much, because, like, again, this is stuff that, like, I'm still getting used to in the game. People did... I'm 100% admit, someone did say, hey, examine evidence more. You should do it more, and I should be doing this more, because I would totally lose trials if not. Should that mean something to me? It does sound strangely familiar, actually. Bruce Fairplay, the witness testifying this very moment. Oh yes, of course, the banker. Why is his name in here? He borrowed 20 guineas, did he? 20 guineas. And look, the repayment date is fast approaching. It's possible that it's just a coincidence, of course, but this could be very useful information. There we go. That's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. That's all we needed. There, I have evidence. Yes. Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. I love that. That happened in Ace Attorney before. We were like, hey, your name's in here, buddy. Your name is in here, Buster. It's like one of my favorite things about, like, Ace Attorney, really.
Yes, counsel?
The defense is ready to present evidence.
By Jove, are you sure?
Yes, evidence that will clearly demonstrate why Mr. Fairplay had reason to lie in his testimony.
Yeah. Very well. I hereby call on the defense to present its evidence. The evidence that will demonstrate a motive for the witness in the alleged deception of the court.
Take that!
There we go. This is a list of debtors who owe money to Mr. McGilded. Yes, a list of innocent victims crippled by the accused extortion. I agree. The point is, among the names of these debtors is your name, Mr. Bruce Fairplay.
What? Mr. Fairplay, are you currently indebted financially to the accused? No. Well, it's barely worthy of being called a debt.
According to this ledger, you owe 20 guineas. Not an inconsiderable sum of money, wouldn't you say?
Well, what of it?
Let's suppose Mr. McGilded were to be found guilty of murder. What would become of your debt in that case?
These documents state that the loan agreement is forged between two individual parties. Therefore, were the creditor, the defendant here, to be sentenced to a capital punishment, all the outstanding debts which were owed to him would be annulled. They would cease to exist.
Oh my god, we need to do that. We need to put all, like, debtors in jail. That works. Right? Just put them all in jail. Mr. Fairplay, is it not the case that you claimed in your testimony to have something you never in fact saw in a devious attempt to annul your debt of 20 guineas to the defendant? Oh, and everyone's chattering about it.
Order, order, order. Mr. Bruce Fairplay. Yes, my lord. Let me ask you again, and be aware that your answer may have most serious implications upon your future, sir. Did you, or did you not, see the precise moment in the time at which the defendant is alleged to have thrust a knife into the victim?
Your silence speaks volumes. You did not tell the truth in your testimony.
All right. Now let's make a melodrama. Let's not make a melodrama out of this.
Let's actually make a melodrama out of this. Let's make a melodrama. I want to make a melodrama. Let's do it.
Perhaps I did. I will state the truth a pinch.
A pinch?
But it makes no difference. I definitely remember seeing blood on Mr. McGilded's hands. Both of them.
Objection. And yet only one of the defendant's gloves, which we have here as evidence, is stained.
So you keep saying.
I wonder if I might be allowed to speak, sir? No, sorry. Your Honor, the defense is looking for British twink to not speak, if that's okay. There goes Calvin again, silencing the twinks. Well, the thing is, I think I remember seeing myself as it happens. Seeing what? The blood, sir, on the assailant's hands. I think, yes. I'm almost sure that it was on both of his hands, not just one. What? What? Look at the way Beppo is standing. He's not doing well here, is he?
It would appear that we're going to need further testimony from all you witnesses. This time, I would like to know precisely what you did and you did not see. Do I make myself perfectly clear? Yes.
Mr. Naruto, this is good news. The course of the trial seems to have shifted slightly at last. Yes. I might finally have a chance to turn things around here. What the witness really saw.
There's blood on both hands of the assailant. I sincerely and distinctly remember that. However, I suppose you might say that I didn't see the exact moment the stabbing transpired, if that matters.
I remember seeing the knife, and I remember seeing both the attacker's hands with blood on them.
I didn't actually say anything myself. No, not until I heard that scream. Anyway, the fact remains, there can't have been anyone else inside the carriage or we all would have seen. Well, lo and behold, the truth in fact, not one of you was witness to the crucial moment of the crime perpetrated. I find the defendant not guilty. I apologize, my lord, but honestly, there was no one else inside the carriage, and the man's hands were covered in blood. That much incriminating evidence is tantamount to saying that we saw the man doing it. How about don't bite that?
You're gonna hurt your teeth so badly. So badly. Let us examine the interior of the omnibus once more. Ooh. The victim's fresh blood is clearly visible on the seat, corroborating the witness's accounts. In other words, there is no substantial, no significant change in the facts of the case. Very well. You cross-examination, please, counsel. Yes, my lord. Such great presentation still. What the witnesses really saw. There was blood in the both hands. He's saying that seriously didn't remember that? Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think a lot of what they said was bull honky. No, the evidence tells us otherwise. We have the gloves the defendant was wearing on the night in question in the court record. I'm well aware of that, sir, but nevertheless, I know what I saw and I stand by it. The man had blood on both of his hands. He's defiant, even in the face of hard evidence. He's steadfastly refusing to admit that he might have mistaken about what he saw, but why? Your reasoning is dire. One hand or two, the salient point remains unchanged. Minutes after the grim crime, the victim's blood dripped guilty over the accused's fingers. You see, members of the jury, let me just explain something to you here right now. I'm going to say this to you. The counsel for the prosecution would have you believe, over and over again, that the minute details don't matter. Now, why would he want this to happen? Why would this supposed prosecution. Excuse you can't insult the prosecution. I'm sorry, Judge. Why would they want this to happen? Because it's clear as day that over and over again they have to tell you, this doesn't matter. Just worry about the stuff at hand. Worry about the other details. It's because they're trying. They know that without these minute details, they will win. Now, I'm asking you, jury, please recognize that in this case, the details matter. Thank you. Make the right decision, or I will kill you. I will kill you and your mothers in Minecraft. In Minecraft, YouTube. I said in Minecraft. In Minecraft. Killing mother creepers in Minecraft. In Minecraft, YouTube. In Minecraft. However, I suppose you might say I didn't see the exact moment the stabbing transpired, if that matters. It does matter. It does matter, my dude. It does. I'm going with the details. Your freaking lawyer can say not boo about it. I don't care. Don't try to downplay this. Whether or not you saw the exact moment of the crime, is a matter of fundamental importance as well as you well know.
For crying out loud, we all know that no one else could have possibly done it. I was just trying to save us all some time.
You have a loan of 20 guineas outstanding with the defendant, do you not? Had you hoped to release yourself from that financial burden by ensuring the defendant was found guilty?
That's not entirely not what I was hoping for. I just lost a guinea or 10 when I backed the wrong horse at the Derby, that's all. I was going to win it all back. There's a fixture this weekend that's a sure thing.
That's a problem, my buddy. That's a problem. Making money through gambling, like if you get lucky once, I would just stop. Huh. A little guinea or 10? I'm a banker.
I'm a banker. No, I'm back tonight if I borrow a little spending money for the weekend. You are a little prick. Are you? I think you may have revealed rather more about your character than you bargained for, sir.
This witness scruples are not on trial here. Again, like don't worry about the character of the witnesses. Don't worry about their personalities. Don't worry about how trustworthy they are. Worry about the details that I want you to worry about. I take it back that this guy's a good lawyer. He's a charlatan. Proceed to the next witness. Is that really how it's supposed to work? Yeah, he's a charlatan. He's a charlatan. I remember seeing the knife, and I remember seeing both the attackers. Yeah, the both hands thing is confusing to me. You're all bullcrapping. You definitely saw the two blood on both hands? Yes, sir. I mean, I know what you're going to say. Only one of Miss McGilded's gloves have any signs of blood on it.
That's right.
The thing is, as far as I remember, sir, when I looked down and saw Miss McGilded sitting beside another fellow, I don't believe he was wearing any gloves, sir.
He wasn't wearing these gloves?
That's correct, sir. And I saw the blood on his bare hands quite clearly.
It's true the dark color stain on the dark leather gloves wouldn't have been easy to see. This is a list of all the most handsome British men in the world. As you can see, we still have yet to write anything down. You will see in due time how this matters. I should point out the police officer who apprehended the accused on the night in question reported that there was no trace of blood on Mr. McGilded's gloved hands. There wasn't blood on his hands?
Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
So there's no blood in his hands? This must be significant somehow, I'm sure of it. Yeah, I wonder.
I didn't actually say anything myself, no, not until I heard that scream.
I mean, we've already pressed 3 statements. Let's just go with it. You didn't see anything? You don't get punished for pressing statements, which is fine.
Oh, yes, so that is so, no, sir, I didn't. Very sorry about what I said before. Very sorry, yes. It was very wrong of me to make up stories to say something.
Dude, I respect you so much, Beppo. You get your money. You lie through your teeth. Beppo for life. Beppo stand up. Oh, look, there he is.
Wouldn't you agree, sir? I know what you're insinuating, but I certainly wasn't making up stories.
Beppo's admitted he was a liar. Beppo's the best liar. Still, to say you saw nothing isn't right either, is it?
No, sir, I saw nothing at all, sir.
Mr. Beppo, you were driving your horse. At the very least, you must have enjoyed a good view of London streets, no? Oh, please, you didn't even see that?
It was so cold and all, you see. It was all I could do to keep from passing out, sir. Yes, my head was fairly frozen solid, sorry to say, sir.
Oh, Beppo, justice for Beppo. Justice for Beppo. It would seem prudent to avoid travel on the last omnibus service on London's cold winter nights. Or just pay the man more. Pay for your fare, Van Zeeks.
Beppo!
Anyway, the fact remains that there can't have been anyone else inside the carriage, or we all would have seen. So this is only interesting to me, and I want to check the court record here for a second. Can we check the court record? For this right here. Because, will they let us get a look at this as well? No. So the bloodstain is here, right? Phoenix Wright Omnibus? Oh my god, what? What? Oh, that's so cool. I wasn't expecting that like at all. That's actually really neat. I don't know, man. That's actually a really cool thing, right? That's actually a really, really cool moment there. I liked it a lot. Like that's like something that's like so like harmless, right? That's like such a harmless thing. It doesn't break the immersion whatsoever. It's just like this really cool thing. It's a little Easter egg that you have here that you wouldn't even know if you didn't check the back of the bus. This game is awesome. Ace Attorney Chronicles is freaking awesome. But moving on to this, I suppose like if you're sitting here, are you really gonna be able to see like? You won't be able to see everything. That's the thing. So should we press this again?
Hold it.
I mean, it's not going to damage us either. I'm wondering how much they're able to see. After everything you saw, the incident was through the skylight of the roof of the omnibus. That's right, it was fiercely cold that night, but the glass wasn't frosted over. Oh yes, I remember I was shivering. It was so bitter. Which rather begs the question of why the pair of you were sitting on the roof deck in the first place. Well, I don't know about this young fellow, but I couldn't enter the cabin. Oh, why not?
It was locked from the inside. I tried knocking, but no one opened the door.
It was locked?
That's right, and the public bus service, for pity's sake, that's not what I call fair play.
Yes, I had the exact same experience. I tried knocking, but the gent inside just gestured me to clear off. So I had no choice but to climb up to the roof deck and look down, looking longingly into the warm cabin below.
Warm? Well, I gotta show you, I wasn't looking down, I was glaring, long and hard. And that's precisely why I can tell you what I'm absolute confidence that it was, if there was anyone else at all in that cabin, I would have noticed.
Unequivocal, I would say. I'm not sure about these two witnesses. Could they really have seen everything inside the cabin? Yeah, I agree. They might not have been able to, for sure. 100%. Allow me to confirm one thing, Mr. Fairplay. It's back in the thing. Okay, you're riding this omnibus? And witnessed the events of the cabin through the skylight and the roof and the upper deck, is that right?
That's right, yes.
In that case, there's a portion of the cabin interior that would have been out of sight for you.
What?
By golly, really?
Obviously, at this stage, we can't say for sure. But the possibility cannot be denied. Okay, at the time of the incident, there could have been another passenger in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus. So we really only have to press part 5, which is fine. Enough hypothetical meandering, my Nipponese friend. The prosecution demands that you substantiate your claims. After all, the scene of the crime is here in the flesh. Very well. I will uphold the prosecution's demand. Okay, so which seat? You have identified in this cross-sectional plan of the omnibus. What do you mean? Where exactly in the omnibus are you suggesting that the potential extraction could have been? So, okay, we looked at this. If they're sitting here and they're looking down into the thing here, where could they have not seen it? Here? It's here, right? Because like then they would like if they're looking down this towards this way like this. Yeah, like we said. Yeah, okay. Here? Both rows of seats on the roof face in the different direction of travel. Whereas the seats in the enclosed cabin face each other. Which means you all had the same hats and outfits on that day. The visible part of the cabin which passengers on the roof deck can see through the skylight is as I've drawn here. That's right, my lord. As you can see, the seat opposite the one in which the victim and his attackers were sitting is obscured from view. In other words, if someone had been sitting on that seat, it's quite possible that the witnesses would have been completely unaware of it.
Yeah.
Objection.
Objection? It's quite possible some phantom was sitting there. You Nipponese have a foreboding habit of obscuring the truth with ambiguity.
What'd you say about me?
I concur with the prosecution's rejoinder. If a British court of law, in British court of law, evidence is paramount. That's why the prosecution is trying to undermine the evidence at times. And I did not say anything about it. I cannot entertain this conjecture, counsel. That is unless you're able to put a name to this mysterious passenger who you allude.
What? Can you, Mr. Naruto? What?
I honestly don't know. Who could have been? Who could have been in the other seat? Which was out of sight? I'm gonna say I have an inkling even though I don't. Wait. Wait. Hold on a second here. What if, so this is the scene we're talking about. What if the murderer was here and McGilded was here? So they saw the murderer who maybe like they thought was McGilded, and McGilded was actually sitting in the seat that they couldn't see, because that would make more sense, because then you'd have to be able to stab him, right? I understand, my lord. The defense would like to put forward a name. You're a fool. That response was a depth attempt by a man who has no notion of his own limitations. A toast to hard lessons not yet learned.
Let's not delay, counsel. The defense is still to name the passenger on the other seat.
This could be it. This could be the chance I've been waiting for to turn the trial in my favor. On that night, on the night of the murder, the person occupying the seat in the omnibus cabin that it was obscure for the view was... Yeah, okay, because it can't be anyone else. It can't be.
Take that!
There we go. The passenger in the enclosed cabin was a witness. That the witness on the roof deck failed to see. Has to have been Mr. Magnus McGilded. McGilded?
What are you talking about, counsel? That's the name of the defendant.
Exactamundo.
Objection!
Okay, calm down. If I desecrate this chamber by smashing my hollow chalice, do forget the discourtesy.
Lord Van Zeeks.
People talk of those tiny island nations in the Far East as having a learning and culture of their own. But I see they use the terms ill-advised. Huh? Huh? You're telling Japan that their culture is ill-advised? That their culture is not real and it's not a learned culture? Coming from your culture, which is just, hey, let's steal everyone else's culture? Your Honor, I would like to call the Queen to the stand, please. Now, I know he's the king now, but he would think he was Queen at the time. What are you trying to say? Let me explain in terms of even a student of an artless backwater such as yourself might understand. When the bloody scene unfolded, the victim and his assailant were sitting side by side. Multiple witnesses have attested to the fact. Oh, I skipped that back, I'm sorry. But that premise may be wrong. What? If the victim really was sitting beside Mr. McGilded? It creates an inconsistency that can't be reconciled in any way.
What inconsistency, counsel?
The defendant's gloves, my lord. Both witnesses made the same testimony. They claimed that there was blood on both hands of the person sitting next to the victim. Yet we know the truth to be otherwise. Only one glove bears the gory remains. Oh, they're objecting back and forth. I love these aspects of Ace Attorney games where there is like an actual battle going on between like both sides. It's nice. Even in the face of this irrefutable evidence, both witnesses have maintained their stance.
Yes, their testimony remains unchanged.
Exactly, they both adamantly swear that they clearly remember seeing blood on both hands of the assailant. In short, their memory of the events is correct, and their testimony reveals the truth. It was somebody else sitting beside the victim that night, a third party we have yet to identify. And the victim's blood was on the passenger's hand, both of them.
Objection.
And who was this third party?
Obviously, the true culprit.
The true culprit? Oh, you know he didn't say that, but extraordinary. Order! Order! What exactly are you postulating?
Objection.
The defense postulation is just that, nothing more than conjecture. The witnesses have clearly stated that they saw the accused. But when elaborating on his testimony, Mr. Fairplay said the two of them were wearing hats and I couldn't exactly make out their faces.
Yes. The tops of their heads were obscured by the roof. I could see the rest of them, though.
Yes, that's right, both gents were most certainly hatted. Hatters do tend to notice such things.
And what particular styles of hat will the two gentlemen sport, Mr. First?
I'm afraid I don't remember.
And you call yourself a hatter?
The style of hat makes no difference. There was no third passenger in that cabin. How can you be sure?
Me making up dialogue in this game is really weird.
Because if there had been, the accused Mr. McGilded would have undoubtedly have offered to disclose the fact. Sorry. Unless that is, you are proposing that even more preposterous explanation. That the accused failed to even notice the presence of the true culprit in the very cabin in which he travelled. He's right. If there was another person travelling in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus, it's inconceivable that Mr. McGilded would have been unaware of it.
Order! There is clearly a simple solution to this problem.
Bring the accused Mr. McGilded to the stand.
Well, what you say, counsel?
The prosecution objects, my lord.
On what grounds?
As a suspect, he will have already made a full statement to the police. But what if there's some reason why he's unable to speak freely? Magnus McGilded is no uneducated ruffian. If it is indeed turns out the man has been withholding information, you can be sure it will have been a most deliberate act.
Counsel for the defense, what is your opinion?
My lord, should we ask Mr. McGilded to testify or not?
Yes, of course. 100% demand his testimony.
Yes, we need to hear what he has to say in order to find out the truth.
Put the hand up. Can I go to the bathroom?
The defense would like to call Mr. McGilded to the stand.
In that case, I would like to hear the opinion of the jury. Oh, yes, I needed time to consider this.
If you ask me, I think we should hear what Mr. McGilded has to say. You're so amazing. Get the man out of here, I say. I love that they've changed your opinion of this trial. It would be utterly illogical not to hear his testimony.
When something needs doing, get it done. That's how I run things at the guild.
Hearing what the patron of my favourite little park has to say? Oh yes, that would be lovely.
Yes, the jury says the man must be heard. Very well, the court will hear the defendant's testimony. Bailiff, show the defendant to stand at once.
Oh, here we go. Big moment's about to happen. We stood our ground. I'm very happy. I'm very proud of Rinosuke. Very proud of him. I think you guys should be proud of him too. I think he did a fantabulous job. Now maybe what actually happened that night will finally become clear.
Let proceedings be resumed. Mr. McGilded, have you been listening to the discourse of the day?
So if he was it was an Irish accent, it'd be what, like?
Yes, to be sure I have, my lord.
That's much better.
There are two matters on which the court desires to hear from you. The first is whether or not there was a third party with you on the omnibus cabin as proposed by the defense. The second is that if such person was indeed present, why did you conceal the fact from the police?
Begad, no, 'tis not in my nature to hide anything at all.
Just answer the question, please.
The truth of the matter is, I've been desperate about this all along. Do I tell yous all, or keep me mouth shut?
Tell us what, Mr. McGilded.
The fine fella representing me is absolutely right. In the carriage on the night, with myself and the other man, there was another passenger.
It's true.
Aye, it was me who helped the little urchin get away after all had happened.
What? So you let him escape? Oh my god, the little pants. No, Magnus McGilded. That convenient excuse can't save you now.
I'm truly sorry, so I am, Lord Van Zeeks. I'm sure you want to know why I said nothing when I was taken in by the police. I do be having a very good reason, I assure you.
Which was?
Well, the little child was just in the wrong place at the wrong time and not in any way involved, you see.
Oh, it was a child?
If the police had known the wee one was there, they'd have assumed she'd done it. They'd have hauled her into here in the courtroom just like myself. I was only trying to spare her that. Young hearts and young minds are easily damaged, my lord.
And who was this young child of whom you speak?
That? I don't know.
You don't know?
Aye, well, the wee thing just happened to be in the carriage that night. I never saw her before or since.
Objection!
Hey, stop objecting. We've absolutely no reason to believe this man. The prosecution calls for the witness statements to be discarded by the court. I call for you to be disregarded by everyone, even your own mother.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the urchin isn't here in this courtroom as we speak, listening to the proceedings.
What? Bang? What bang? Smoke? What do you mean? There's a fire. Look, there's someone trying to get away. It's no use. Cough, cough. I can't see anything through all the smoke. What's going on? This is so cool. Bailiff, don't let the accused escape. Secure the omnibus.
I will call emergency recess. Bailiff, ensure the defendant is in custody or clear the courtroom.
So what's crazy about this is like these were always the best moments in the first game when there was like abnormal things happening in every court case. I'm so glad they're doing it here as well. We hurriedly removed from the smoke-filled courtroom by the bailiff. Amid scenes of chaos as people stumbled over one another in their desperation to flee the chamber, we had no idea what was happening. All we knew was that, for the time being at least, the trial was suspended. To be continued. Really cool. Like, it's really great. Like I think this trial is fantastic so far. And, like, it's actually really fun to actually, like, go through all the different information. Of course I'll save my current progress. Let's go back up to the top, I suppose, on the first, yeah, the Great Departure. Yeah. Might as well save over these as well. We've no reason to keep them, I believe. I want to know what's happening really badly. 8th of February, 12:52 p.m., the Old Bailey. Let's go. What on earth just happened in there? Miss Naruto, I've managed to find out what happened. Miss Susato, I've sold an advanced form of smoke grenade. A type of exploding device that releases smoke. A smoke grenade? It sounds like the sort of thing ninjas use. Just make sure everyone is safe now. I think the trial will start again before long. But who would have done something like that? The police managed to catch someone who was trying to flee the courtroom, apparently. Flee the courtroom? Why? Well, it was a young girl of around 15, I hear. Oh, let her go. Let her go. Let her go free. 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 Everyone together. Everyone in the car. Let her go free. Let her go. Oh, present it. Yeah, present the life for everyone. Everyone. Let her go free. 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 Everyone, come on. All of you in the comment section start singing. Let her go free. Let her go free. Let her go free. Yeah. If you didn't sing along and I was just singing by myself, I'm gonna look really dumb. A young girl? Then could it be the other passenger Mr. Gill was just talking about? My thoughts exactly. So he wasn't lying. Of course he wasn't. It's McGilded. What's become of Mr. McGilded, actually? There's so many things I need to ask him about. But he's not here. I think he was summoned to the prosecutor's antechamber to answer questions, along with the young girl. Who is she, I wonder? And what was she even doing here at the trial? She was taking a huge risk, and for what possible benefit to herself? There's none of the matter that's troubling me. What is that? The 20 pence. 1 second here, guys, right? This is something I don't usually do. I have a little nylon cloth here. I'm going to wipe the top of Susato's head. Let me explain afterwards. there was like a little bit of dirt on her head on the screen, and it was just bothering me because her complexion is always so clear.
According to the coachman, Mr. Beppo, he took 4 passengers that night at a fare of 5 pence each. That comes to a total of 20 pence exactly. But now it seems there were in fact 5 passengers, which means the figure doesn't seem to add up again. She's right, that is strange. The counsel for the defense kindly proceeded to the courtroom. The trial, oh, here we go. Fair enough.
Whoa, the nipple hat. Nipple hat.
Yeah, there we go. For all you nipple hat fans out there, did a joke for you guys. Whoever she is, I imagine this young girl will be asked to take the stand and testify now. I really can't imagine what she's going to say, but it could alter the whole direction of the trial. We'll all know soon enough, Mrs. Otto. Yes.
"8th of February, 1 p.m., the Old Bailey courtroom."
Oh my god, the design is already freaking awesome. Let her go free, let her go free, let her go free, let her go free, let her go free. I know the comments that eventually I will get is like, just because they're a young person doesn't mean they should get away with a crime. I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm a teacher, but I'm very lenient on just like, I understand from the kids' perspective always, like, that they're not always like just evil kids, and they never are really. Like, sometimes of course they are. Sometimes if they commit heinous crimes that are disgusting, of course there's bad kids out there. I'm not saying that. Don't put words in my mouth, Gregory.
There's a young girl next to Mr. McGilded. Look. She must have been the one who caused the disturbance before.
Well, after that rather eventful recess, the court will now resume the trial of Mr. Magnus McGilded. Now then, Lord Van Zeeks.
My lord.
I believe you have established the cause of the smoke which veiled proceedings earlier.
It seems to have been an advanced form of smoke grenade, or the sort of typically employed by the army.
Good gracious, the army? What in the devil's name?
It was an elaborate attempt by a young girl to cloak her escape from the public gallery, but she was caught. And now occupies the stand.
Your name, girl? Are you responsible for the smoke grenade which induced such pandemonium here in the courtroom? What does it mean is deplorable behavior?
Ahem. If I may, my lord. That's not my voice. Again, we changed the voice.
Yes, Mr. McGilded?
I think perhaps I ought to explain her. Why is it that Miss Wee Lass was here in the first place, and why she tried to bolt like that? 'Tis all tied up with the events of that night, so it is.
Very well, Mr. McGilded, give your testimony. You will explain to the court exactly how this young woman is involved in the case.
Just what did happen that night? It's not like a defense lawyer needs the information or anything. Witness testimony. I love the presentation, always.
On the night in question, I took the back seat in the omnibus and promptly nodded off. Then, begorra, a loud thud and wee scream woke me up with a fair start. There was a fellow collapsed on the floor at my feet, so I sat him up on the seat across from me. Then I turned out to find out where the scream had come from, and bless my soul, what did I find? There was a child in there, all curled up in a ball, hiding her wee self away.
I remain somewhat baffled and confess, but from what I gather on the night in question, this young girl was indeed riding in the omnibus. Is that correct?
It's exactly the defense counsel said. This lass was the 5th passenger, my lord.
There we go. We have a 5th passenger, so all the testimonies are lies so far, and we shall send them home.
The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Are you ready, counsel?
Yes, my lord. Or rather, no. I have no idea where to start. Van Zeeks is like, yeah, you have no idea where to start. What if we just win? What if we just let us win? On 90 question, took the back seat. Now he wasn't properly nodded off. I don't think this is pressable. And before the loud thud and we spoke. Oh, let's press this. Let's press the ones that matter. You know, like I think that, like, you know, last time they had like every statement mattered. But like, I'm not sure what, like, a loud thud you say in a scream. I don't think every statement matters this time around.
That's right, how can I explain it? 'Twas like the sound of someone falling to the ground. That sort of noise.
So you think it was the sound of Mr. Mason falling to the floor having been stabbed?
Well, now, you'll remember I was asleep at the time, so I wouldn't like to say. And, well, the sound woke me and I opened my eyes. There wasn't a soul to be seen in the carriage, but they fell on the floor.
You didn't see anyone? But at the same moment you did hear a scream. From the seats above you on the roof deck, I presume.
Not above me, no, my lord. 'Twas from the inside the cabin. But I wasn't altogether thinking about the scream. No, I was too stunned by the desperate sight before my eyes. There was a fella collapsed on the floor at my feet, so I sat him up on the seat across from me. Then I tried to find out where that scream had come from.
Wait. There was a fellow that collapsed on the floor. Okay, let's press this too. Yeah, that's a pressable statement for sure.
You sat him up, the victim, you mean? That I did. On the seat across from me, and I said I could plainly see the poor devil was already gone. And you wouldn't leave a dead man just lying on the floor now, would you?
I would. I definitely would. I definitely would.
Tis common courtesy, so it is.
No, I would leave him on the floor. I find it a little hard to believe.
Ah, Lord Van Zeeks, now why would that be?
You wait to find a man lying dead at your feet and in a carriage, and any normal person would have hailed the cabman. Any upstanding member of the London Society, that is. Oh, it's because he's Irish, he's not an upstanding member of the London Society? Is that what you're saying? 800 years, my friend. We fought you without fears.
Well, now, as you know, I'm something of a special line of business.
The business of lending money at extraordinary rates of interest? Yeah, he's a freaking prick.
Unfortunately, my lord, not everyone is thankful for the help I offer them. And some would even see me dead. So I do try, where at all possible, to avoid getting myself in a tangle of trouble.
I did say before that saying the word pervert would get me demonetized, but I genuinely believe that, like, my channel has been flagged as a channel that is, like undemonetizable. I think they've because I have like 3,000 videos and every single one of them seem to be very child friendly. Just because I guess I don't do a lot of very risque jokes. Sometimes I do, but like they're not very risque. I think YouTube's kind of like, yeah, don't study him as much, which is fine, which is great for me, which is great because I like the entire Danganronpa playthrough was monetized. The entire Resident Evil 7 playthrough was monetized that I did, which doesn't usually happen because usually gore and violence gets demonetized or like limited. So I don't really have worries about that too much, but then again, that could happen at any point. You never know.
So I do try where all possible to avoid getting myself entangled with trouble.
Are you suggesting you were just going to leave the man there? I would.
Heavens alive, no, I was always intending to report it, so I was. Only, I had a mind to find out whys and wherefores first.
The whys and wherefores?
Right you are. There were some details I want to understand before anyone else got to meddle. The wee scream I heard, for example. Wouldn't your good self just do the same?
Yes. The scream says he heard at the same time at the thud of the victims collapsing.
Then I turned to find out where the scream had come from, and bless my soul, what should I find?
Hold it!
I don't know, maybe. The only statement I haven't really found that wasn't really pressable was the first statement.
I'm afraid I don't understand. I'm sure you told the court that there was no one else in the carriage except yourself and the victim. So I did, sir, so I did. And as far as I can see, that is.
What do you mean by that?
Well, 'tis a queer thing. The wee scream I heard was, what'd you call me?
'Tis a weird, I mean, like, you know, whatever maybe is a queer thing, you know what I mean? He was very close to, Cosma.
The wee scream I heard as I woke up. It came from, if you'll excuse me, the vulgar expression, under me backside.
Good gracious.
Under your backside?
And when I lifted the seat on which I'd been sitting, I found there was a wee cubby hole there for storage.
Mr. Naruto, can we examine the omnibus ourselves, remember? Yes, of course. This would be a very good time to have the thorough look around inside. Can we go inside right now? Can we do it right now? Well, let's open the door and go in. Okay, that's good. The scene of the murder, it's horrible. Yeah, okay, I didn't know we could go inside. Oh, it's cozy in here. It's nice. So there's seats. This seat looks reasonably soft, but it's actually rather hard when you sit in it, yeah. And it's only wide enough for two gentlemen to sit side by side. I could fit 3 of me on this, 4 of me maybe. Of course, an English gentlewoman would be dressed in such finery. It would be quite impossible to climb up to the roof deck, so she would have to be seated here. A woman in kimono would have the same problem. Women's clothes are very impractical, aren't they? Yep. There's a blood stain on the floor. There must have been a murder in here or something. That's blood, isn't it? Is something wrong? Oh, it's just, well, this blood stain is so obvious, that's all. And yet Van Zieks has made no mention of it. I suppose it does seem a little strange. Why do I have such a bad feeling about this? He said there was a cubby hole. That's blood that's soaked into a seat, the victim's obviously. Yes, and that would be clearly visible from the roof deck. Would you really stab someone in full view of other passengers like that, I wonder? Well, if it was after dark, and there was a lamp on in here, so perhaps the culprit couldn't see anything outside through the skylight. Whichever way you look at it, it doesn't seem like it was a planned attack. So he said there was a little cubby hole. Do we have to look at this part? The seat handle, it seems openable. What's in here? This is a storage compartment. There's nothing here. It's totally empty. Something doesn't seem right, but I can't put my finger on what it is. Can we do the same thing here? We can't. It seems empty. Okay, at least we gotta look at that then. That's fair enough.
And that's when I found it. G'day, mate. That's when I found it. There was a child in there. And there was a child in there, all curled up in a ball, hiding their wee self away.
Hold it!
I guess we'll ask about the child as well. You say she was hiding herself?
Aye, that's right. It was hard to see in the dim lamplight, but she was all curled up in a wee ball. When our eyes met, well, me heart nearly stopped beating in my chest.
You're really overreacting this. What do you mean? If I found a girl hiding, like, in a cubby hole, my heart would start beating as well. Still,
And all I pulled her out from under there. And I sat her on the seat opposite so I could have a wee chinwag with her.
the seat opposite Chinwag is just a conversation.
That's right, just next to the dead gentleman there.
You shot the young girl next to a corpse. Jesus Christ. I would like to plead insanity.
Well, as I'm sure I mentioned, a gentleman in my position can all too often find himself in mortal danger. So, I need to find out just who this urchin was, you see. And while I was in the middle of talking with her, I heard another scream, a fella's voice this time.
Presumably that scream was Mr. First, who was sitting on the roof deck seats.
Right you are again, I would say, sir. Looking down through the skylight, he must have seen this young girl and gentleman with the knife in his belly.
In other words, the previous witnesses did not in fact see you at all, Mr. McGilded. That they believed to be yourself and the victim was in fact this girl and the late Mr. Mason.
Aye, my lord. I was, as I think everyone understands now, sat at the back of the carriage out of sight.
It is certainly plausible. The defendant is somewhat diminutive in stature, and readily confused perhaps with this young girl.
After that, of course, with the scream from the gentleman over us, the driver realised something was wrong and pulled up the horses.
I'm adorable. You are, says Otto. I do wonder how you must be feeling, Mr. Naruto, being the defendant's lawyer and yet finding myself as stunned as everyone else in this testimony. Let's just say it's trying. We certainly had a precious little time to talk to Mr. McGilded before the trial. But we mustn't be dispirited. We must try to learn all the facts we can. Ha! When we arrived in London this morning, I didn't see any day panning out like this. Mr. Naruto, no grumbling, even in your head. How do you know? On the night in question, I took the back seat. Okay, so I guess we'll press this as well. I didn't think it was pressed, like we needed to press this, but when you first got into the omnibus, were there any other passengers already on board? They were not. The cab. Oh, it's actually very important information. The cabin was empty, and there was no one on the roof deck either.
You were the first passenger, as it were, I see.
Aye, and that's why I took the back side as I did. 'Tis the most comfortable, so it is.
Could you explain exactly what you mean by the back seat?
By all means, 'tis how you already described it earlier. I'm talking about the seat opposite, the one in which you, the poor gentleman who was stabbed, were sitting. Like I said, 'tis the most comfortable and where I feel most at ease. And of course, I enjoyed gazing through the skylight from the time to time as well.
Van Ziek's not speaking, which is very nerve-wracking. Oh, okay, so that's all we have to do. Okay.
Thank you, I've heard enough. The events, as explained, are clear in my mind. However, at least one conundrum remains. Who is the girl? She's very fashionable, whoever it is.
Her name is Gina Lestrade, my lord. She's a chancer, earns her crust amongst large crowds, relieving people of their purses.
Oh, so she's cool.
What's commonly called a pickpocket.
Oh, she's so cool.
Pickpocket, pickpocket. Steal for the rich, keep for yourself. Robin Hood.
This girl here, a petty thief.
I think people are gonna people always know that I'm not a big fan of rich people.
Is it true, Mr. Lestrade? Mr. Lestrade, you'll answer the question.
Oh, get him! Get him! Is she gone again? The girl, she's gone. Open your eyes.
Oh, she's there.
I'm over here.
Oh, the music. Good gracious, how?
What was the point of that little sidestep? What wasn't the point?
I know what are you thinking. Grown-ups are all the same. Tis dirty little dipper, you'll say, slipped up and got caught in the job. She's got herself backed into a corner, so she knifed the gent. Go on, that's what's in your heads, ain't it?
No, not at all. 'Tis court of law.
Shoot him! Yeah, get him! Get him! Get him!
Look, noise of cowards. Only thugs use weapons like that. All I need for what I do here is these fingers. I'm a professional, right? Maybe not in your eyes, but I got pride in what I do.
Let me guess. You don't count smoke guns among weapons for thugs?
Oh, this? Oh, yeah. This is a bag I left the other day. Where they keep the four-wheel drags.
Wait, is that? No. Is that Sholmes' gun? The one where he, does the smoke and finds the fingerprints? No, it can't be.
Nice, isn't it? I think I like pink the best.
Don't wave that thing in my direction again. Oh, Zeke's is drinking his wine. So, you admit that you were riding the omnibus on the night in question?
Tis alright, lass. Tis alright, lass. You can tell them the truth now. Alright, yeah. It's just like the Irishman said.
The court accepts this girl, Miss Gina Lestrade, as a valid and significant witness in this case. Accordingly, young lady, we will now hear your testimony, if you please. You will tell the court exactly what happened in the omnibus on the night in question.
Alright. If I have to.
Oh, we're going to get a testimony from Gina. If I can be completely honest about why I tend to be more lenient on younger characters in Ace Attorney games, I think that a lot of times people, especially it seems to be always with teenage girls. I'm just gonna say this right now. People for some reason have this big hatred towards teenage girls in media. And I would like to talk about this at length. I'm not going to talk about too much at length. But I think when we had in Phoenix Wright, the girl who was clearly mentally damaged, clearly not all right in the head, I kind of took pity on her, even though she did a very horrible thing and I didn't excuse the horrible thing. She did a pretty horrible thing, but she was definitely abused and, not right mentally. We had a girl who was running away from a troop of people in the last trial. It's man, of course I'm going to back up this kid. She didn't mean to kill anybody, and I feel like everyone kind of was forgiven in that trial, or that case, at the last case we did. And in this case, this girl is clearly on hard times, and she has to pickpocket. She obviously, if she tomorrow they said, hey, here's $1 million guineas, she's not going to be a pickpocket for the rest of her life. She has to do this. So of course I'm going to be a little more lenient on these kids, because they're kids.
So I snuck aside the carriage before they hooked me up the horses, just like always. But it was right a waste of time. I got nothing to show for me troubles that night. I'll tell you, you can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. Then, after a while, I heard this loud bang. Nearly jumped out of my skin, it did, and the screen just came out. It's because of that this swell found me. It helped me get away in my mind.
Yes, he let you go.
I fail to understand why you let the street urchin go, Mr. McGilded.
Oh, 'tis simplicity itself, my lord. You see, she couldn't possibly have killed the other
Oh, McGilded. I knew that for a fact. We're in trouble.
As my story said before, sir. I was sitting right on the top of the place where she was hiding herself. I think a demonstration is called for. This is where I sat that night. And the cubby hole of which you have spoken is underneath that, I presume? Yes. It does appear to have large enough to accommodate someone of that girl's stature.
That girl's such a...
Aye, but of course, the wee lass was stuck in there. Because I'd parked myself on the seat for the duration. So you see, that's why I let the lass bolt. I knew that if the police found her there, they'd automatically assume she'd done it. But I couldn't live with myself knowing a young life was ruined with all the time I knew she was innocent.
Even though you must have realized your action would result in your innocence being called into question.
Not at all, my lord. Not at all.
Oh, God.
I knew in my own heart that I was the innocent. So I thought, it was worth taking a punt on my own good name for the sake of this less fortunate lass. My goodness. What a perfect gentleman.
My lord, this is a funny how a man cannot be guilty of a heinous crime like this. I'm ashamed of myself for doubting you, sir.
Wait, really? It's over! It's not gonna be over. Something's gonna happen. He's fully innocent. We did it. With calm calculations and one rise clearly the truth every time. Oh, we need one more. We need one more. Yes! There it is. Innocent. Guys, thank you so much for watching this series. We've done it. It's not gonna. I know this something's gonna happen.
Saints alive, all 6 members of the jury consensual in their leaning towards a verdict of not guilty.
And surely Van Zeeks won't do the, the thing that we did before because he believes it's archaic. So, yeah, we've won.
Mr. Arnold, well, it must mean what?
That we're victorious. You're so adorable. We've won? Are you sure? No. Okay. Just, alright, dude. In sight of my iron-heeled Wellington friends, pray, do not forgive the discourtesy. This really is a consummate example of the one monumental flaw in the British judicial practice. There's like 3,000 flaws. Where the evidence and reasoning should be paramount, emotion rules the day. That's, yeah. It sometimes is that. We've seen that in many cases. The witness's latest testimony gives us a clear insight into his true nature. What do you mean, his true nature? Do you really think Scotland Yard would have made such a glaring omission? After the incident, the omnibus was comprehensively searched by officers of the police. Obviously, the interior of this cubbyhole, as the witnesses put, was included in the investigation. The compartment under the posterior seat was full of the coachman's belongings. It's noted that in black and white here in the police report.
Good lord.
The evidence has been tampered with in order to corroborate Mr. McGilded's story. He was unlawfully removed from everything from under the seat. What?
Order, order. How could such a devious contrivance possibly have been affected, counsel?
Naturally, you must acknowledge the deficiencies of the constabulary in allowing this to have happened. However, I assure you, when the omnibus was wheeled into the courtroom this morning, the compartment under the seat was not empty. Well, my Nipponese friend. Me? When the carriage was submitted as evidence, doubtless you examined it in fine detail as anyone's self-respecting practitioner of the law. Yeah, we did right away. Right away. Not later on like we did. I mean, like we didn't do. Pray, what did you find the condition of the undersea compartment to be? It was empty. Right? Right? Let's go inside again. Yeah. We looked inside the cubby hole and there was not, like, and it's making me nervous here as well, like, because then, like... It's totally empty. Yeah, it's empty. It's empty. Like, we can't lie, right? The young gentleman will be able to clear this up in a jiffy. Sorry? Go ahead. You tell the court now, fella. How this all an elaborate excuse by the desperate Lord Van Zeeks. Well, counsel, so it is going to be a question. Yeah, it's empty. Do you have something to say on this matter? Or it might not be a question. How am I supposed to answer? What can I say about the state of the little compartment? It wasn't empty? Like, it was empty. Like, I don't want to lie, like, but it's not going to help us. I'm very sure it was empty. If I'm honest, my memory about this all a little hazy. As I suspected, it seems, my lord, that the Eastern Initiate has the scruples of a by-street wine merchant. Mr. Naruto. Perfect. 'Tis why the fellows represent me, after all. He knows just what to say, does he not? Well, now, it would seem the argument is moot, and the truth of the matter is there for you all to see, after all. That there was a cubby on receipt is empty as the devil's heart, so it is. That we can be sure of at least. Why do I feel like something's not right here? We've been saying that since the start. I should like the jury to weigh in on this matter, I think. Should the jury be weighing in on the matter? The compartment is designed to house equipment used to maintain the smooth running of the carriage. The guild's rules state the omnibuses should be properly and fully equipped at all times, so it certainly wouldn't have been empty on the night in question. Beppo, isn't that irresponsible? That money-lending fleecer and the pick purse are lying. Oh, you serious? No! Not again. You need to stop. I can't believe it. No, please don't do this. They're stinking rich, always thinkers. Nothing but cowards, a lot of them. Should we have, we shouldn't, we can't lie. Like, it was empty. It was empty. It's a trick, of course. It's a trick. Quite so. I must concur here. Well then. With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time. Shut your mouth. You be quiet. But every time a different truth, it seems. Yeah, it's really just like I'm very confused here because like I feel like we cost ourselves, but I guess that's just like the story. That's what we have to do. My lord, humbly exhibit the scales of justice. Clearly, a verdict of not guilty at this time would be wholly inappropriate. I agree. Yeah, I agree. But before we proceed any further, there is a matter of the outstanding cross-examination. Counsel for the defense, begin your questioning of the witness, please. Yes, my lord. What just happened? The whole balance of the trial just shifted almost beyond recognition. Like, I knew as soon as he was like, what was the contents of the thing? Like, I didn't know, but like, usually they are questions, but I didn't know it was going to be a question, but like, it definitely is like one of those things where it's like, I can't like, if there's something not right about what would be in there, like, we saw it empty. We saw it empty. There's nothing we could do. I'm glad that it was the right choice, I guess. The Reaper of the Bailey is at work, it would seem. Oh, he knows the nickname as well. Yeah, I forgot that was his nickname for a second. Cross-examination. Okay, so we're cross-examining what the girl saw. So I stuck inside the carriage for the hooked up doses just like always. But it was a right old waste of time. I got nothing to show for me troubles tonight. Okay. I'll tell you can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitching there. Okay, let's go. Let's go. It's about the hiding place. So you couldn't see out into the cabin at all?
Not a jot. Most days I push the cushion up with my head. Just look out the crack. Then I can have a butcher's at who I'm gonna fiddle.
Fiddle in Ireland means something different. It means something so different. I thought you were picking. I'll just explain it to you without getting demonetized. Fiddling means it's like something a pervert would do. It means something so different in Ireland. So like he should be shocked. I mean, I can't have a look. The seats got under ain't plush. The seat I get under ain't as plush as the other one. You see.
So most of the time, the passengers pan themselves on the opposite. For some reason that night, this here Irishman spent the whole journey right over my head.
And for that reason, you were able to push the cushion up to peek out, I see.
Truth is, I ain't too happy in the small dark places. Feels too much like being thrown to the clink.
So that's actually pretty cool that they're like a thing about her character then. Like she doesn't like, how do I say? She doesn't like dark places because her minds are of like getting arrested.
But the only place to hide in them carriages, so it's option's choice.
Why doesn't she just stick to picking people's pockets in the open then? I say there's a reason that she's not letting on. There's a reason that she's not letting on, judging from her demeanor.
So anyways, I was a bit scared, but I had to just stick out under there. Nothing else for it. Then after a while, I heard this loud bang. Nearly jumped out of my skin, I did, and the scream just came out.
When you say a loud bang, do you mean the noise of someone falling to the floor?
Could have been, I suppose. I don't remember so well. Point is, it made me jump.
And you let out a scream involuntarily?
That's right. And then I felt the cushion over my head. Light all of a sudden.
Presumably when the defendant got up in order to help the victim, yes? Or not. It could equally have been the moment the accused stood in order to stab the victim, could it not? Well, girl, did you see what happened at the crucial moment? Hold the head down.
Yeah, I saw it. I pushed up the cushion at a quick butcher's while I was at the chance, didn't I? The Irishman was sitting up the bloke without falling on the floor of the seat opposite.
That matches Mr. McGilded's account, of course.
But then the defendant suddenly turns around and looks right at me. I sunk back down again, but it was too late by then. I should never have risked looking. It's because of that, this swell found me. He helped me get. The swell found me. He did help me get away, boy.
And when Mr. McGilded discovered you, he pulled you out from a hiding place?
I was scared stiff. He dragged me out and sat me down in the seat and all.
Next to the victim, Mr. Mason?
Yeah, the bloke had a knife in his guts. He was still bleeding. Then the carriage lurched a bit, and he ended up falling onto me.
How awful.
Both me and my hands got covered in blood. It made me feel sick as a dog.
Both her hands covered in blood. That must have been what the rooftop passenger saw. Oh, wow. After that, I believe you talked to Mr. McGilded for a while. Is that correct?
He asked me some stuff. Wanted to know my name and what, and I was up to in that. Then I heard something from up above. Someone screamed.
Yes, Mr. First on the roof deck, one will presume.
Well, I didn't want no one to see my face, so I didn't look up. Then horses were drawn up smartish, and this Irishman says to me, "Get back onto the seat. I'll see that you can get away later."
All 6 members of the jury have decided the defendant was innocent. For one brief shining moment, yes. It's clear they're all still very unsure. If we could just find some conclusive piece of evidence among the new testimony. I mean, that's not always like a good thing for me. I'm not always very good at that, if I'm being honest. Yeah. I think you're right. Something's bothering me, but I just can't put my finger on it.
Hold it!
So you're just on the Omnibus before it even set off on its run?
Well, yeah. I mean, what's the point of spending a joey to make a few bob? That's the run idea, isn't it?
I suppose she means there's no point in spending money to make money. It actually makes sense. Counsel, may I remind you that this girl is a petty thief. Kindly refrain from entertaining our tenants. How about you kindly shut up?
Well, it does clear up the little mystery of the fares and all. 4 paying passengers, 5 pence apiece, making the 20 to which the cabin testified.
And what little escape Grace riding for free?
The red conch of the driver always goes.
Oh god damn it! I'm messing up with these voices. It's 2 hours into recording. The red conch of a driver always goes for some grub before the last run I see.
So that's when I slip up into the carriage and get myself in under the seat, nice and easy, right?
I'm done. But you're hiding place in storage compartment full of equipment for the coach. No. So I forgot we can check the other guy's reactions, which you should be doing that as well. Yeah, there are brushes and buckets and whatnot in there, sure. I always chuck that all out and cram in the corner somewhere. No one ever seems to bother much. And yet, according to the report filed by the police officer who first arrived on the scene, the compartment was full of such paraphernalia. Well, I don't know nothing about that. Like I said, I moved all that stuff out so I could hide under the seat. That's all I can tell you. It seems we've reached the end of that line of inquiry. Continue.
Okay, so yeah, I forgot, like, the reactions is probably very important. So I wanna do something very quickly, actually, and I wanna do it on this statement first. So, hold on a second. I wanna see his reaction. Okay. I mean, I can have a look. The seat's got Andre ain't as okay, yeah, he's the same statement as before.
Well, now.
Oh.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. Is something wrong, Mr. McGilded? Oh, I do apologize. Was there something the matter, Counsel? I'm just wondering if Miss Lestrade's last comment made something occur to you, perhaps? You seem to be thinking something to yourself. Oh, no, 'twas nothing important. I was feeling bad for the poor lass is all. I remember feeling desperate myself as a young lad. Shut up in the dark, 'twas terrifying, so it was. I see, yes, I'm sure we can all sympathize. I'm still scared of the dark now. I'm not anymore. Aye, and I don't know about yourself, but I find that darkness seemed to make everything you hear seem that much more louder as well. Yeah. I suppose it does, maybe. Mr. Strayed, did you hear something that night? Anything unusual? An unusual noise, perhaps? Nah, not really. All I could hear was Irishman snoring. But Chambers, that's not what you tell the whole world of me fables, you little scamp.
They're going too hard in the Irish stuff here.
What a pity. If only Mr. Strayed had heard something, it might have given us a vital new clue. Yes, what should we make of the new last statement of hers? It's insignificant, it's profoundly important. I mean, okay. History. All I could hear was Irish and snoring. Did you hear something that night? So she didn't hear any unusual noises. Is that what's important about it? My lord, I believe the statement just made by the witness is profoundly important. But all she said was that she heard nothing. That's probably pretty important, which is a profoundly important point. I'm almost sure of it.
I'm almost sure that I don't understand the inner workings of your Eastern mind, Counsel, nevertheless.
Nevertheless, I'm just for the occasion. Miss Gina Lestrade, will you supplement your formal testimony by repeating the last statement, please? What? Supplement? What are you on about? Don't give me all your fancy talk. I know what you're trying to do, but it won't work on me.
That's right. Insult the judge. Always a good move. It is, especially when it's this judge.
I was trying to work out what was going on, but all I could hear was snoring.
Hold it.
So he was asleep. He was asleep for the whole ride. She was trying to hear what was happening in the entire time since the moment you hid yourself? Not exactly, no. Sorry. Well, there was no one in the cabin to start with. I could just push the cushion up and have a butcher's to see what was what. But then, when I saw this swell getting on, I got my head down and it didn't notice me. And Mr. McGilded sat in the seat under which where you were hiding, correct? Yeah. Would you Adam and Eve it? Yeah? What a mug. So then, all I could do was listen. I was waiting to jump out there as soon as I heard him leave, see? But would he? Not likely. Even though we stopped here and there, I never heard the door open. So I just had to stay put and listen to I'm driving his pigs to market. Him driving his pigs to market, stoned like an old dog he was. Are there any conclusions we can draw from that?
So he's saying that, like, he was snoring along the way. See, the problem is with the whole thing of snoring on the way is that, like, she would have heard something else. She would have heard, like, a stabbing. She would have heard, like, a killing. She would have, if they stopped a bunch of times, she would have heard something as well. Mr. Straight, what you have just told the court? It's clearly at odds with the facts.
At odds? Are you sure, man?
Absolutely. It seems my learned Nipponese friend is not as dull-witted as I feared. So Van Zieks realized it too. I love the designs, I love the characters, they're also great.
Counsel, I must insist on your boast or your claim with evidence or some complicit party's name at the very least.
Yes, my lord.
I expect you to demonstrate this alleged contradiction to the court.
According to Miss Lestrade, while she was hiding in the omnibus that night, she heard nothing but the sound of Mr. McGilded snoring. But think, Marinosuke, think. Ow, ow. There's something else she should have heard. Show a piece of evidence, show a person, forget it. Show a piece of evidence, show a person, or forget it. If he was the first to get into the bus, she would have heard someone else get on the bus, which was the person, right? Which was the guy. What was his name again? The guy who died. Right? Right? Am I right in saying? I think I'm very much right in saying this. She said she didn't even hear the door open, so he didn't even get into the freaking thing. On that particular sound that Mrs. Straight could not have failed to hear in the night in question. The sound very clearly explained, but it's him, right? It's him. Yeah.
Take that!
This is getting very, very interesting, and it's something I don't think I can even explain right now. Yes, my lord, the sound that Mr. Straight cannot have failed to hear. Is that of the victim, Mr. Mason, boarding the omnibus? Yeah. If the door was closed and never opened along the way, and you would have heard it, like if you're, especially if you're a pickpocket who's listening out for this stuff.
Explain your reasoning, counsel.
Mr. Straight, allow me to confirm something. You claimed earlier that you were the first person on the board to board the omnibus, is that correct? Yeah, of course I was. I got on while the driver was in the pub, didn't I? And the next person to board the omnibus was Mr. McGilded? That it was. Not a cell was in the cabin when I was... Not a soul was in the cabin when I climbed aboard. At least not in plain sight. So you were, to all intents and purposes, alone in the enclosed cabin in the omnibus at the time. Did I just say as much? I wasn't traveling with anyone else. If that's what you meant. That's what you mean. Yeah, I saw him gone, remember? The crack under the seat cushion. He was all on his own for sure. And from what we've heard, the carriage made a number of stops after that on its onward journey. During which time, did you not hear the door opening and closing at all? No, I never heard it. That's exactly what I was listening for, wasn't it? Waiting for this swell to leave. In which case, when and how did the victim end up in the carriage? We know that the victim collapsed inside the enclosed cabin of the omnibus. Therefore, Mr. Straight's statements about what she did or did not hear, it's at odds with the facts. I don't think she's lying, though. She doesn't seem like she's lying. Yes, his petty thief statements were clearly flawed.
Lord Van Zieks?
Yes, he knew. He knew all too well that there was an inconsistency in Mr. Straight's statements. It would seem words of thanks are in order from my learned friend. What are you talking about? You have demonstrated matters impeccably. This witness and her colourful statements are entirely unreliable. Her words are convenient untruths, nothing more. He's dead right. How could the victim possibly not have boarded them? I've been in the same underpants for days. And the girl in the pickpocket. Let's not forget that.
I'm gonna kill someone.
These jury members are stupid. These jury members are dumb.
I don't want to judge the dear little mite just because she had some rather naughty ways. But I must say, I'm kind of bored liars.
Oh, shut up.
And neither could I.
Mr. Foreman.
I didn't want to judge the girl just because she has some less than salubrious ways. But I must say, I kind of bored lawyers.
Oh, shut up. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth, all of you. I hate you all. I hate you guys so much. So the last 5 jury members leaning towards guilty. Well, your consideration for others is refreshing, my Nipponese friend. To the considerable troubles you have spared me. Yes, very refreshing.
What are you playing at? Have you forgotten who you're working for? You useless Eastern Ataman. Mrs. Carnage is perfect.
Juror number 2 is the only one left, and she's beautiful. No, this the way this is going. I know, if we can't find some new way to convince everyone Mr. McGilded's innocence, the judge will rule and we'll have lost. Don't do it, girl! Don't do it! I very much want to believe the words of one of London's most respected gentlemen, but those of us in service know we must accept the hard truth. No! Yes, the witness' last statement seems to have revealed a critical inconsistency in her story. However, if you consider the possibility that her statement is in fact the truth, it may shed an entirely new light on this whole case. What are you saying? I'm sorry, sir. Whatever do you mean? Counsel, I will not tolerate you attempting to prolong my adjudication.
Explain yourself at once.
When the accused boarded the omnibus on the night in question, the victim was nowhere to be seen. Subsequently, the carriage door was not heard opening a single time, as testified by the witness in the stand. And yet the victim's body was found inside the carriage. If this petty thief's words are to be believed, how do you explain the victim's miraculous appearance inside the cabin in the omnibus? Your mom. He was already in there. There's another entrance. He was put there after he died. So it's not he was already in there, because we know he wasn't already in there because she didn't see a single person there. We know this to be a fact. He was put in there after he died. It doesn't make any sense either, because they definitely saw someone die. Or they saw the blood in the hands. We saw the blood in the hands. So there's another entrance. But I don't know what the entrance is. I mean, I guess like if you can get through like the skylight is though probably the only other thing I can think of. If the door wasn't opened even once. The only explanation is that the victim entered the enclosed cabin some other way. I wonder what new fantasy you would come up with in your blind panic. But behold, the omnibus here is for all to see. The windows? The only one side of the enclosed cabin is furnished with a door. The other only has windows. Fixed windows which cannot possibly open. In short, there's no entrance to the cabin other than the door. So we're gonna say the skylight then. But there could be. There's one possibility you haven't considered. Oh, really? Yes. One other way inside isn't the door. Another opening, the use of which was allowed the victim to appear inside the enclosed cabin. Alright, counsel. The defense will identify the location for the court. Here it is, the omnibus in which the incident occurred. Where on earth is his entrance by which you purpose... Oh, so we, like... Yeah, so we're gonna say that the... Like, I'm guessing we're gonna say the skylight. That's, like, the basic... I don't know. Like, that's it. Like, it's the only other place they could have entered through. The answer is obvious. It can only have been the skylight.
I say the skylight.
Objection!
Your ludicrous proposal almost has me lost for words. However, the skylight may be large enough for someone to pass through.
So you claim, but you have a shred of evidence to support your idle brain theory.
Brain theory. But Mr. McGilded and Miss Lestrade said the same thing in their testimonies. They each claimed to have heard a loud thud, such as a noise made by someone falling to the floor, so they dropped down from the... Oh,
Yes, which has already been explained, as the sound of the victim falling from the seat having been assaulted with the dagger.
yes, it has, but would the man slipping from the seat onto the floor really have made such a loud noise as the witness described? So someone stabbed him on top and then dropped him down below? A noise loud enough to cause Mr. Straight to let out an involuntary cry, in fact.
Good gracious.
Perhaps, in fact, that was the moment that the victim made his entrance into the cabin. No, let me rephrase that. The victim didn't enter the cabin as such. He fell into it. You're now suggesting the victim fell from the skylight into the cabin? That's simply impossible. How could you be so sure? Because if the victim had fallen inside through the skylight, as you say, the passenger on the roof deck would have seen it happen. And yet not one person made mention of such events in their testimony. Well, yes, that's true, but...
Uh-oh.
Might a hammer fellow make a wee comment here?
Mr. McGilded.
To be sure now, the two fellows who were sat on the roof that testified afore said nothing of the victim falling through the skylight. But it seems to me, my lord, that 'tis not so much a case of them not saying, but...
Aye.
'Tis a case of them being unable to say.
What?
I think perhaps the two fellas
Do be having something of a compelling reason not to mention what happened.
Who would you not agree, fine ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
Oh my goodness, surely not.
Those two chaps on the roof?
You mean the ones who stuck their knife in the man where?
I think they could possibly have something to do with it. That's my theory anyway. Who's saying hold it? Oh, the two boys are back. The boys are back in town.
Just what exactly are you insinuating here, you blither?
You rotter, he said. You rotter. What are you insinuating?
Oh, he's getting angry.
This is a flaming outrage. I've got mine to give you a blinker in a minute.
He'll give you a shiner in a minute, he said, and so will I.
Mr. Fairplay.
You're effectively accusing me, a city gentleman and well-respected banker.
And me, a very angry hatter.
Suggesting that someone like me could have stabbed that man in the guts. It's a disgrace, it's scandalous, I protest in the strongest possible terms.
That's right, I protest too.
Oh, he's laughing as well about you, you rotten scoundrel. That jacket's too big for you, buddy.
Order, order! This is not the time, witnesses. I will not permit the wanton invasion of the stand. Return to the anteroom at once. But this is beyond reason, my lord. It's outrageous.
It's very hurtful, you know.
My lord, if I may comment.
Go ahead, Lord Van Zeeks.
It was the defense that incited this outburst from the witnesses. My learned friend has not seen fit to abandon all protocol and accuse the witness without proof. Accuse? I never intended to. It seems, young Nipponese, that your command of this English tongue is wanting. You propose this court that the victims fell through the skylight from the roof deck of the omnibus. That hypothesis cannot possibly stand without the rooftop passengers being aware of these tragic events. You have branded these gentlemen liars. You have intimidated the criminal... initiated the criminal guilt? In our British courts of law, that is termed a baseless accusation. I know it's rash to put forward any actual evidence, but... You can't just dismiss without a second thought.
What are we wasting time for? Get to testify.
I thought there was something fishy about that hat from the moment I laid eyes on the fellow.
Yeah, they're on our side.
We have to see this matter through now, one way or another.
If there's filth and rubbish in our midst, we must dispose of it at once.
Oh my god. Oh my god, it's horrifying.
What's happening, Mr. Naruto? The spectators in the public gallery they're in a complete frenzy.
Mr. Fairplay, Mr. First. My lord. You will take the stand again and make another formal testimony in reference to the indictment brought by the defense. Yes, my lord.
I didn't come here for this.
There's no time to think this through. All I can do is keep pushing forward. Okay, we're going to end the episode here. I know this episode's very, very long. But what I'll say about before we get into the testimony is I think this trial so far has been really fantastic, and it's been really getting me into it. Again, the longer videos, the reason why there are longer videos is because I'm off for the week. It's going to change next week again. I'll see you guys very soon. Bye-bye.